And we want to cross to Kwale right about now, where my colleague Abdiaziz Hashim is there, and he's actually there to, bring us up to speed with what is happening in as far as the Mwache Dam is concerned. It's a 20 billion shillings project which the government actually is spearheading to ensure that Kwale, Mombasa, and the coast region is water secure. If you can hear me, Abdi, please bring us up to speed with what is happening in Kwale.
Well, Marie, you're correctly right there. Mwache Dam is one of the flagship projects, the 2030 flagship projects that the government is currently working on, of course, with the World Bank. The over 20 billion project has not only impacted the residents who are living here, but changed the livelihoods of this particular area. But like any other project that the government is running or it is donor-led, it has had an adverse effect on the residents who are living closer to that particular project. And Mwache Dam has suffered the same fate, but over 4,000 households were affected by this particular massive project. But the key question is, how has the government addressed and restored their livelihoods to that particular aspect they required? That is the main question here, and we are with the leaders who are focusing on this livelihood restoration program for the residents who are living in this particular area. We'll also be conversing with the beneficiaries. Joining us, this is Daktari. Daktari, start off by introducing yourself. What role do you have here? And in terms of the massiveness of this particular project, how has it impacted this community?
Well, I'm Dr. Daudi Paul Kitonga, the Managing Director of Frontman Consultants that has been contracted by the World Bank and the Government of Kenya to undertake this sensitive resettlement of over 4,000 households of Mwache, which is a Duruma community, which is classified as vulnerable and marginalized. We are supposed to undertake their resettlement, coordinating with National Land Commission to compensate them over 4 billion Kenya shillings. We've already done 2 billion shillings, and the government has provided an extra 2.1 billion, which we are starting to pay this month. I'm here with my group of experts and representatives of the community beneficiaries, including the Kaya officials who are also affected as a community. And shortly, I want to call Francis Venzi, who is the lead expert in livelihood restoration, to explain how we are restoring livelihoods after compensating them the money that was paid by the National Land Commission. And now the World Bank has provided some grants to also improve their livelihoods and improve their incomes to make it a better resettlement.
There you have it, Marie. Let's speak to one of the experts. Given that you've just heard 4 billion was given out, already 2 billion has been allocated to the residents, remaining with 2 billion. So Francis, tell us, what does this livelihood restoration program entail?
Livelihood restoration program is a post-compensation program aimed at restoring the lives of the over 4,000 households which were affected in their livelihoods. For example, we have the crops, the livelihoods which were affected, the crops, businesses, and social and economic infrastructure.
And does it entail farming?
Yeah, crops is what crops and livestock is part of the farming livelihood restoration.
Marie, let's get also to speak to the Kaya elders here, led by Mzee Shaban. Mzee Shaban, if you could join us here. He is among the people who are affected by this particular project, but you can see the government has allocated appropriate funds to restore their livelihood. Mzee, asante kwa kuungana nasi hapa katika runinga ya KBC Channel 1. Tueleze wakati mradi huu ulifika hapa eneo hili, ili kuathiriaje na kwa sasa umenufaikaje?
Bismillah. Kwa majina kamili naitwa Shaban Ndegwa. Kwa kusema kweli, mimi ni chairman wa Kaya, na huu mradi ulipoletwa na World Bank na serikali kuu, na huku kwetu kuna gatuzi, serikali ya ugatuzi. Sisi tulikataa mwanzo, alafu baadaye tukakubali kwa sababu tulikuwa hatujafahamu. Tulipofahamu, na walofanya mpaka sisi tufahamu ni consultant ambao ni frontman, wakatueleza kinaga ubaga, tukaelewa. Kwa hivyo mradi tangu mwanzo, mimi nililipwa awamu ya kwanza. Nililipwa vizuri na wenzangu vizuri. Awamu ya pili watu wakalipwa, na kuna pesa ile compensation tulilipwa, alafu kuna pesa ya disturbance tulilipwa. Saa hii kilichobaki, kuna watu hawajalipwa awamu ya tatu, na kuna pesa ya maisha mbadala ambao maisha mbadala ni livelihood, si pesa, ni vitu ambavyo vitatolewa ili uweze kujiendeleza. Sasa hata hapa nilipo kuna mistari imechimbwa hapa, na hiyo yote ni mambo na livelihood. Kwa hivyo mradi umetuwezesha, tumeshukuru serikali na World Bank pamoja na wale compensation wale ma consultant waliokuja, wamekuja kutufanyia kazi nzuri. Kwa hivyo kaya ilikuwa kuna mahali ilikuwa affected, lakini tukang'ang'ana na tukarekebisha. Tumerekebisha mpaka saa hii mwisho tuko na cultural center, na hiyo tunataka kutengenezewa cultural center kwa sababu kuna mizimu yetu pale mahali kwa ile dam, pale main dam. Kuna viungu vilibomolewa na sisi tuka demand ya kwamba tulipwe, tukalipwa viungu, tukaweza kuviweka kaya. Sasa kuna zingine tunataka tumalizie tuziweke kaya, kwa sababu tunaenda na hii mila na desturi, na wote walikubali, sio eti walituruka. Kama walituruka tungekuwa hatuna lolote. Kwa hivyo tumeshukuru mradi, tujiendeleza na umetuwezesha.
Kwa sababu umetueleza kuwa uliweza kupokea hizo fedha, tueleze labda kwa wale Wakenya wanakuangalia sasa, umeweza kutumia hizo fedha kivipi? Umeingia ukulima, umeanza kujenga, umeifanyia nini?
Kwa kusema kweli, nilizopokea mimi pesa zangu siwezi sema sahihi, lakini nilitumia vizuri. Nazijua mimi mwenyewe. Nilitumia vizuri, nikanunua shamba, nilipoteza shamba, nikanunua shamba, nikajenga nyumba ambayo nilikuwa sina tangu na mwanzo, tangu nizaliwe. Kwa hivyo kila mmoja wetu alijijengea nyumba yake ile kivyake, na matumizi yake alomaliza shamaliza. Yule ambaye bado amebakisha banki kwake, ana akaunti yake, ni well and good. Mwenyezi Mungu amsaidie.
Asante sana. That is Mzee Shaban, the Kaya elder here, speaking to, of course, there are some of the beneficiaries of following this Mwache Dam project since it came here in Kwale County. This dam will not only serve the residents of Kwale, but the county of Mombasa as well, serving them with over 100,000 cubic meters of clean water that they can use domestically as well as in agriculture. But for now, back to you, Marie.
Thank you so much, Abdiaziz, for that report and just bringing us up to speed with what is happening in as far as the Mwache Dam is concerned. Abdiaziz definitely will be bringing us up to speed, or at least giving us a report later on in a subsequent bulletin, just talking to some of the residents there, talking about the compensation that they've received and how they've used it, and also the experts who are managing the Mwache Dam project, also just giving us some of the monies that have been paid to the residents. A total of 4 billion is what is expected to be paid, but 2 billion is what has been paid for compensation. All that will be coming your way with Abdiaziz Hashim later on in our subsequent bulletins.